I am excited. I am. I'm sorry to say, guys, I'm going to play the new season for Diablo. I will. Like, I too listen. They are. Yeah.
Such as the revamped crafting system, which I bet led to many of you saying, who needs a loot filter? Am I right? That is...
We need a loot filter, it's funny. Nope, we just want to have... We don't want to organize our own loot.
Tell me something, boy. Zagreus. Why did you do all this? Return the Queen. Go to such lengths. At a certain point, you must have learned the way I felt about her. Yet still you persisted. If I were you, I'd not have done me any favors.
I didn't often stop to give it much thought. I just knew I needed to find her. And then as soon as I did, I knew I needed her in my life. In other words, doing you any favors was never a priority, Father. Just ended up that way, I guess.
He was just a jerk. He didn't do anything good for anybody. Good one. But it's kind of cool how there's more to the story. Keeps going.
I see. I appreciate your candor. Nevertheless, I thank you. I do not know how you accomplished what you did, but know that I am grateful for the outcome, even if I fail to act like it much of the time.
A lot of people don't know what the word candor means. Candor means the truth, casual truth. I appreciate your casual truth as candor.
You're welcome.
Ooh, we've unlocked more hearts. Interesting. I can give him another one of these. How many you want to have? 7 of them? I'll save it for now. What's new? I don't think I can use Iris, and I don't think I will ever use that one. There's another choice. Bedroom decor. A deathly motif? I don't know what that is. I don't know if I really want that. Does that even matter? I got different music. Death and I. Yeah, these are expensive.
Well, I don't see why not.
A song. I am your humble court musician, Zagreus. I must confess something to you, my friend. My mind's...
Don't torture yourself, mate.
I too once had ideas, Zagreus.
I know.
Ooh, the Queen.
So if there's anything that I can do for you, Nyx, you need but ask, all right? I plan to pull my weight.
Your services were always welcome here. Please acclimate yourself at your own rate. I am available to answer any questions you may have at any time.
And I am available to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, my friend. I have to tell you, it's good to be back.
You and your sisters really don't get along well, do you?
Alecto and Tisiphone and I each have a different outlook, I would say. We've learned mostly to stay out of one another's way.
That doesn't sound like a healthy basis for a relationship between siblings.
Are you lecturing me about healthy relationships with family, Zagreus? Your family, your father's family, is the most broken and corrupted in the history of the entire concept.
I don't know, I disagree with that idea. Most broken? Nah, not really.
Fair point. I didn't mean to sound like I had any meaningful advice there, Meg. We're stuck with our bloodlines and our relatives, aren't we?
I would say more than most, but there's no way you're going to say something extreme like most. There's always somebody worse.
Tighten parents into pieces and then scatter them in Tartarus. Remember that when next you tell me about family.
Okay. Fish time.
Here's what I caught. Totally worth it.
Hey, listen a moment, lad. I require your discretion with regards to whom we spoke about last time.
I understand. What can I do about this, sir?
Simply put, he is the reason that I'm here.
You wanted to see Patroclus, but he's...
Yada
I signed a
yada
pact, lad.
All right.
I like her. Music gets another one.
Hey, Deucer,
Best girl.
here's some more of this really, really good nectar for you. Please keep up the wonderful work, and more importantly, keep being your wonderful self.
I'm really very flattered, Prince, but I've just been so busy lately that I haven't even had a chance to try the last bottle you gave me, so you want this back? Maybe for someone else?
Please, it's yours. Besides, you must have some time off coming up when you can enjoy it, don't you?
Oh, I mean, maybe I do. I think maybe I do, except nobody's told me anything about that. And besides, there's so much work to do around the house still. I just can't leave everything like this.
Well, you enjoy, all right?
Oh, one more away from the tequila.
So between us, all you're attempting to break out of here, over and over, you're now authorized to keep that up?
Something like that. I guess I
have to say, I never thought I'd hear you talking about looking forward to working, Zack.
Oh, I'm feeling fine. I never thought I was much good at anything, but if my fated purpose is to be a master of frustrating father's efforts to make it...
Well then, I'll be looking forward to working with you in a more official...
Bye, Than.
What? He escapes. What are we short on?
Check my file here.
Clears 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. What? 5 between fists? Dang. So we need more spear. More spear runs, please.
Well, back to it.
Oh, doggy ones.
Bet you're happy to see Mother home again, huh, boy? Only wish you could have told me about her before.
The hell-born monster Cerberus contentedly ignores the prince's callous, inconsiderate remark.
Hey!
Give some to the gods. My achievement.
That's one more prophecy fulfilled.
Oh, finish the god of sea one, Poseidon.
Uncle Poseidon. So different from father.
Grow closer with more Olympians so the plan can unfold. Yes, yes, yes. Enjoy the house contract to help renovate the How do I renovate the house? I'm not sure how that works. Okay, we got to new western entrance to the island. Oh, maybe that's what that's the western entrance. Tough call, tough call. Make an entrance.
Here you go. Well, maybe I can use this to avoid father's withering gaze and unwanted
Break down the wall.
You think you can avoid me through there, boy?
I thought it was going to be where the other wall was broken. More loungy. A bat cage, all-seeing bats.
Here's the fee.
See the whole area.
These adorable little creatures forced to live in a cage ought to lighten the mood.
Oh, hey.
There you go.
Those bats are for reconnaissance, not for your
I think that'll
mood.
do it. So this is I thought the door was going to be right here. Somehow that looks like a door, but it's not. This is an area of the door.
Let's have a bat's eye view.
Beautiful. And you see everything. Did I finish the achievement quest? Of course not. What am I missing? Renovate the lounge some more? Huh. What is the lounge? Oh! More exclamation. That's probably what we need. Fireplace on the wall. How much decoration do we need? So this thing right here turns into a fireplace. This turns into a fireplace, but we already have a fireplace here. We have another fireplace here. It's kind of... Yay! Wait. We didn't even get to more gems. Yeah. What do we got here? Oh, there's also another thing. Dark reflection. Get everything. 8-1. It's down. It's back. So I have a list. This right here. Mirror light. So right here we have fiery presence, dark regeneration, and so on. So I'm pretty sure I already have all that checked out. Darkness, dark reflection, death comes, greater reflex, there's no blood. Sticking and soul. You want that one? Yeah, do that. Golden touch. Big skin. Sticking, so we got the infernal soul. Touch, thick skin, family, favorite, Dark Foresights. We have God's Legacy, got it, and Faded Authority, got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. This one, no! Deep Pockets Golden Touch. Deep Pockets Golden Touch was that? This one. We have that one. Big skin and eye pockets. Nothing bigger. Let's see. Shadow Presence. Shadow Presence. Oh, because I counted that one twice. I think I'm good. So we just need the opposite of that one. So we just need. I'll just change one of these.
I can be more.
Change. Deal attack. We'll just change it to Shadow Presence. Missing. Good. So we're trying. Alright.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's just which one is? Oh, it is. It is the fist again? Oh, man. Another fist? I feel like I've done too many of these. Gotta do another one. Which one do I need to upgrade first?
Care to join me out there?
Not sure. And I get to have all these unlocked. They're all unlocked. I think I have everything unlocked.
Oh, change your plan, I like it.
I think I'm supposed to beat the game with the spear. After your special, you retrieve your spear with Raging Rush. Huh? Press X to dash to your spear. Oh, you dash to your spear. I don't know, that sounds really weird. Punishing sweep. Each spin techniques, those take more effect than 10 seconds. This seems kind of weird. This one is extra weird. I don't know if I could do this one.
We are one.
It seems so weird.
Whoa, what was that?
Trying the spear. The reason why I'm doing the spear is because I have less required heat. So X twice. Okay, got it. Alright, got it. Wait, did it give him something? Ooh, what? Wait. Should I give him this? Okay.
Skelly, while I know your services have already been paid in full, your sources ought to know you've been doing an excellent job. So much so I wanted to give you this.
Is that a vintage bottle of ambrosia, pal? I never even thought I'd get to try a thing like that. I mean, what am I here? You know what? I want you to have this.
There it is, champion red.
You really shouldn't have. Do you have any idea how hard to find this is?
What does it do?
What's this one here?
Press R to summon once per encounter. Or once per encounter. Per escape one. Oh, we need to level up maybe? Looking off his ability. Ooh. Summon a creature's strength.
Rib, this one's for you.
Empowered by them. Do this, do this. And swap some stuff out. Only one heat. So to one heat. It was done already.
No stopping me this time.
Right.
Not what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, give me a fucking loot filter.
And
the introduction of Endrail.
Warning, bad word filters not working.
Actually okay with them not having a loot filter, but at least trying this, right? Let's try it out and see what happens. The Uber boss. I can't tell what excites me more. The actual fight or being able to farm Living Steel 2.0 and activate it. Ooh! Is one of my favorite games. And if you get an item now that gives you like int, dex, and strength on it? No, in fact, because this wand is just like intelligence on it is just the main stat for your class. So if you are a main stat for your hunt, int, dex, and strength on it? No, in fact, because this wand is just like I mean, to be fair, he's showing a helmet. That's a helmet. Intelligence on it is just the main stat for your class. So if you are a sorcerer, you're only going to find intelligence on items. But I'm not worried about this, as I'm sure the 7-day PTR, launching 5 weeks before the start of Season 4, it will surely have enough time to fix any issues.
Just like they did with the beta.
Definitely won't hear this.
You hear about, I want to watch my inventory, you hear about all the different types of things. Look at his face, bro. giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that.
Oh,
and we're doing our best to address this quickly and safely as possible. So just kind of manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only...
I still believe that he thought that the stash tab being loaded by everybody in town was so fucking stupid, and internally, nobody would take him seriously, so he accidentally leaked that to the public to show off how completely fucking incompetent they were. I think that's what happened. That's like my headcanon of what happened. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and he knew it was fucking dumb, and he finally...
Nah, probably what happened is that nobody in Blizzard cares because it's so corrupt that nobody... Like, probably what happened was that anybody that cared got fired, and everybody else learned their lessons to not talk when it comes to profit. And as long as the Blizzard CEO can make the top profits, he'll always choose that choice, and no matter what the devs say, if they complain about it, well... they're going to get rejected, and if they complain too much, they get canned. And so this guy knows exactly what's going on. It's you suck up to the CEO making the most money, and you just deal with the fallouts. It's like a sinking ship. It's sinking, you know it's sinking, but the captain says, start up the engines, keep it running. And meanwhile, you're knee deep in water, and you know you're going to sink. You know, half the developers that were originally in charge of Blizzard bailed out, took life rafts and got out before the ship was completely under, and this guy is there thinking, well, I'm going down with the ship. That's what he's thinking. That's exactly what he's thinking.
It was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking say it.
Manage expectations. Sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 years.
I just absolutely
love those guys. It's only been 5 months now.
There's a fine line
Wait, 10.
And it is with a tricky part, where I feel like I need to explain how they took one giant step over that line and absolutely crushed. It only took me several days after hearing about the organization changes to come to this dreadful realization. And that is how Yellow items, having one less stat than Legendaries, meant eventually Yellow would get used. I know many of you Diablo 4 loyalists are confused, but let me elaborate further. That paired with reduced drop rate means that our beloved inventory full of Yellow we acquire after each dungeon run may come to an end. When I came to this realization, I was of course in disbelief. I needed to double check.
Once again, we're focusing on less time sorting through your inventory and more time getting back in action, more time slaying enemies.
That's good.
You do not want to make dungeon with 25 items.
This may be the first time, and hopefully only time I would say this about the Diablo 4 challenges. But guys, you just fucked up, and it personally ruined my life. No more picking up every yellow to sort through each one.
Thank God.
On edge for every run. No more meticulously reviewing various stats to see if I should be using more damage to hug enemies versus more damage to leaving enemies who are frozen. And on top of this, how embarrassed I'm going to feel when someone runs by me and loads my entire stat pack.
That was good.
Is this what you want to be known for, Blizzard? Ruining a great game? No, of course not. You want to keep up your flawless record and well-respected image.
Yeah.
Which brings me to today's sponsor. We here at Blizzard Entertainment are known for a lot of things, starting with our fresh, unique, and completely revolutionary ideas, such as World of Warcraft, basically the first MMO ever. Real MMO. I mean, first real MMO that is still relevant.
First good MMO.
Also known for taking ideas and improving on those ideas, making them better. Ever hear of Heroes of the Storm? Of course you have, and you're welcome. Or maybe Warcraft 3 Reforged. Yes. What a masterpiece of a remake. We are also known for how we take risks with our well-known super risky games.
Ooh.
A single-player PvE game? That would never make money. Project Titan? A PvE multiplayer shooter game?
That would have been really cool.
No one wants that.
No.
Yes, that's the risky game I'm talking about. A phone game developed by a Chinese company for a fraction of what it would cost to develop a real Diablo game, where we just took the assets and threw Diablo skins over them and added a boatload of microtransactions to prey on those with gambling addictions. Well,
as I said, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Go ahead. But I ain't playing.
Yeah,
I ain't playing that shit.
And you may
Get the fuck out of here.
concepts implemented in our
I'm not gonna play, yeah. But the shit eaters eat shit. True.
Between outdoor bosses, events, and quests to make you feel slow and annoyed having to travel on foot so we can tell you on the mountain that we definitely know you want. Or at least our microtransactions you wanted, so they can tell you on different fancy ways. You may also notice the risk of launching a game with a PvP.
I can't wait for like 4 years from now, and like the new horse, like they ran out of different versions of horses, and now you're buying like it's a Lamborghini with a machine gun that has like Lilith in a bikini painted on the hood of it. It's like you're just driving around in a Lamborghini. Like they just run out of example. Like, all right, after this, it's like
a raccoon that you're riding around, and then, oh, this is like a Hot Wheels car from like a collab that happened 2 years ago. Yeah.
I'm sure you all still remember exists, right? And lastly, for ideas we improved on in Diablo 4. Well, you saw the crafting system update coming in.
It's basically everything the corporation can milk out of the customer to get the most money. They don't really care about the customer. They don't care about the entertainment value. The only thing that they care about is how to make the maximum amount of profit possible. And they, like, anybody that buys this or doesn't buy this could be as pissed as possible. What really matters is how much money they're making. Until people stop buying, and they will not stop buying, but until people stop buying these games, Blizzard will keep doing what they do, because they are a corrupt corporation that doesn't care about the customer. They only care about the profit. And when you think about it that way, when you think about it from point of view from they only care about the money, everything makes sense. And so do these jokes, apparently.
Season 4.
I did.
This may be a complete shocker to you, but we improved on this system from last evening. We made it better because we call it master building instead of forging potential. How stupid. And who could forget Greater Risk 2.0? It's not just the same thing as Diablo 3 Greater Risk. No.
It's not the same thing, but I think it was Joseph in the event literally called it rifts. In the video, on the live stream, he called it a rift.
Not one bit, because we overhauled the entire system by adding in a countdown. But now comes the real news, and what I'm happy to announce will be the next major thing Blizzard will be known for, and that's epic collaborations with
Oops, my mic was turned off. I remember playing Diablo Immortal when it first came out, and I cleared the whole thing on the computer. It was a fun game. It had good potential, but the problem was it wasn't as good as Diablo was. The original Diablo. It was good enough. Like if it was released back in the days, back in like when was Diablo? 1995. When Diablo came out in 1995, it would have been good. But for a cell phone game, I suppose if it was a cell phone game, it would be a pretty good cell phone game. But I don't like playing cell phone games. I think they're all crap and trash. And I don't want to badmouth cell phone players because maybe they can't afford a computer, or maybe they can't afford a console. But I just think people that play on phones are just trash. I just can't believe, like, I don't know, if you're spending money on a good enough phone that can play Diablo, then you are a trash person that spent way too much money on the phone when you can't even afford it. I'm just thinking, like, the kind of person that cannot afford a console or a PC should not be buying a $1,000 cell phone or a $500 cell phone. or whatever to play this game. I just think that people that have the priority wrong are just trash. And that's what it feels like to me. People that can only play cell phone games at the highest peak performance and cannot afford a PC because they spent all their money on a phone, well, they're just trash. Sorry, that's how I feel. They should have spent more money on something like a computer, or even, like a, Nintendo Switch, like I'm playing on. You can take it's portable, and it's way better than a cell phone. Sorry, I know it is. It's just a fact. Nintendo Switch games are way better than phone games, and I'm sticking by it. I'm sure everybody will agree with me.
Our first ever collaboration with Capcom. Yes, you heard me right. We saw what they did with Dragon's Dogma 2, and we were impressed. No, not by the game, but their craftiness and ingenuity in launching a microtransaction store so stealthily by not...
We were impressed by their monetary microtransactions, how much profit they were able to squeeze. That's what they're impressed about. They're not impressed about any actual good game. They're only impressed about ways to make more money, profitability. Look at that, day one DLC, awesome. I mean, that's just despicable, disgusting. Any game with day one DLC is trash, in my opinion, because all that stuff should be part of the game. If you're paying for a game that has stuff removed from it on day one, you know it's going to be trash because it's missing a lot of stuff. It's just going to be a bare bones skeleton of a game. I want the game to have everything from day one. And DLC should not be like skins or extra characters or whatever of the same game. I think that's disgusting. DLC should be an extra game on top of the game. Should be like extra, like more than like more areas added to the game. It's hard to describe. Like if you're playing a game with dungeons, then the DLC would add like 5 or 6 more dungeons and add more levels to the game that you can go even higher powers. It's kind of what Zelda DLC did, but I think they kind of broke the rules too a little bit in some of their DLCs. But as far as I remember, the Zelda DLC added more stuff like a Master Sword quest, which is really long, different versions of the gameplay that you can play, like several things that makes it worth it. Added game-breaking items, I would say, the motorcycle and some other stuff. More quests, more bosses, etc. I think they did. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time. Anyways, that's what I think about when I say DLC. When I see DLC, I expect it to add like a part 2 to the game, an extra part to the game, not just an extra clothing or an extra motorcycle or just an extra weapon or something. I expect it to be more to the game that you can do, not just dressing. And I think most of those are just like non-game issues, which is just really despicable in my opinion.
Even mentioning it beforehand and not
people really buy this. I wonder how many people buy this. You know what Capcom should do if they were based is they should make it for like if you buy at least 2 of these, you have like a 30% higher chance of your pawns contracting dragon blight. Like there's like a higher probability. It's like an internal metric. It's pay to lose, yeah.
In any press conference. And on top of that, the actual purchases ranging from items that are extremely easy to attain in the game to an item that is almost a necessity. It would be like us selling your teleport to town function as a $5 add-on and letting you buy living steels for $1 each. But don't get too excited just yet, because after working with Capcom for 1 week, they already improved on our PTR offerings. So without further ado, I present to you Diablo 4 PTR Boost by Capcom. So
you can pay again. Only $35.
For the low
Is
price.
this
awesome? There are really things this will offer. You can pay again with new characters. Gosh. Awesome. I also like the pay to lose function, but of course they'll never do that because nobody will ever buy it. People Like, it's really disgusting how people say that some things are not pay to win when they give you advantages and extra stuff that nobody else gets. That's clearly an advantage, and giving an advantage is pay to win. Because if every player is equal, then the person with the advantage clearly wins. It's just dumb. And like, the worst part about pay to win is that, for single player games at least, it makes the game bad on purpose. The design of the game is bad on purpose because they remove the good stuff and then they put it behind a paywall. And so, in my opinion, that's why I probably never play the game, because I hate them, because they suck. And the reason why I hate those games, or that when I do play them, they suck, is because they have a whole bunch of the good stuff removed. And so, why would I ever want to play a pay-to-win game on day one? It's ridiculous. With all the good stuff, all the fun stuff removed. Never, I would never do it. It's kind of like, I don't know, this is just ridiculous. It's kind of like playing pretty much any game with all the power-ups removed. Oh, you have to pay money to enable the power-ups. No. Sure, you could beat the games without the power-ups, but it's not fun. And that is my point.
Real? Yeah.
Or just one last teapot.
Yep.
You get an instant boost to
Hey.
100 million gold
Look,
and 1,000.
you knew it was going to happen.
A full campaign completion, amount, and skill points. Now we told Capcom that an instant boost to 100 would mean you would get skill points already, but they said to list it anyway because it would make you think you were getting more out of the deal. And
It's crazy how many developers and how many microtransactions. It's like, there are things that you can buy that are just like obviously a waste of money, and they just put them in the store anyway.
It's because people who pay money for DLCs are probably the lowest IQ people on the planet. The people that are the most susceptible, most gullible, the most addicted to gambling, etc. That's who they're preying on, and it's a sad thing. Most of them are children. It's just pathetic, and the parents are just too dumb to understand. It's too bad.
Play and idiots buy them.
Clarify. This is separate from Diablo 4 Test Run Limited Edition and Ultimate Edition packs. But speaking of
New buy plus.
Present to you the Diablo 4 Ultimate PTR boost.
Imagine if they had that. Like, you finish new game, and you get new game plus, and then you can buy all the microtransactions again.
Paid DLC upgrade. So
Oh god. That would be really funny.
Also, again, they just wanted to list it. They do it to cool the stupid. Now, you might be thinking, wow, this looks too good to be true. And the only thing possibly wrong
It is.
all the teleport locations are. Well, lucky for you.
Now I'd pay $1 for that.
We hear it.
Yeah.
Capcom saying, screw you, that takes too much time to code. Now back to the main thing.
Okay.
Wow, that Capcom Blizzard collaboration looks so
Not even gonna do it. Nah, it's too much work.
But in all seriousness, which is rare for me in these videos, I really wish Diablo 4 was great from the start. But it does seem they are trying to improve on the game every approach. Yes.
I agree. I do.
Yes.
I think that this is great. And at the end of the day, I bought the game, and they're not making me buy it again. Like, I can go back and play this season whenever they get it together.
I did not buy Diablo Immortal. I got it for free. I played it for free, and I beat it for free. I did not play beyond beating the main boss because I was not interested in the pay-to-win BS. I was pretty happy that it was possible to beat the game without paying any money. That was pretty nice. So I'd say Diablo Immortal is a success for me. I never bought Diablo 4 because I thought it was trash, and watching other people play for it and make fun of it, it confirmed that it was trash to me. I don't think I would ever have fun playing that game. But for the record, because of Nintendo Switch, I purchased Diablo 3 on Nintendo Switch, and the reason why I purchased Diablo 3 for Nintendo Switch is because it came with everything unlocked, and the difference between day one release of Diablo 3 on the computer and day one release on the Switch is that the Nintendo Switch had the drop rates multiplied by like 1 billion, and so I was getting gold loot, where if you watch a video of the people playing the computer game, they would never get a golden loot or an orange loot ever in their entire 40-hour run. And I was getting full stacks of it on my first run through killing Diablo. I was getting more than I could carry. I had to sell them. I was getting so many. And another nice thing about the Nintendo Switch Diablo 4 specifically is that there was no real money auction house to pay to win the game, to ruin the game. So my game was the pure experience, the way it was designed, without pay to win mechanics. It was a full single player game with none of the BS, none of the stuff removed that would ruin a pay to play game. All right? Imagine you paid for Diablo 3 and you played 40 hours and you never got a single drop of item that was an upgrade. That was the experience of Diablo 3. If you watch the old videos of the original release, people would play through the entire game, clear Diablo, and never get a single drop upgrade that they could use. Everything they got, they'd buy from the auction house for like 50 gold, and that would be enough to clear the whole game and never have to upgrade again. That is a miserable game, and I refuse to support that. I never purchased it. I bought the Nintendo Switch D3. Oh my god, it was so much better. I mean, the experience is a billion, and I think everybody would agree with me on that one. Every single item I got was an upgrade, and I didn't have to pay for other things like, I don't know, getting other characters. Didn't have to pay for any mounts. Didn't have to pay for any clothing. Everything was free, and the drop rate was really high that I didn't have to buy it from an auction. They didn't have an auction house though, but because it didn't have a money auction house, the drop rates were so common that I was able to get those rare items by myself. They were dropping from the bosses, and the excitement I got from every single kill and every single rare kill, every single boss kill, it dropped an upgrade or dropped a significantly good item. It was just, it was like heroin. It was amazing. It was good feeling. You'll never get that playing the original D3 on the computer. Nobody ever got that. It was just like, ooh, I got another drop that I could sell to the vendor that I'll never, no upgrades at all to the whole game. It's just, I don't know. That just seems really boring to me. And you didn't, what am I gonna do? Anyways, I'm just whining the whine. If Diablo 4 comes out on Nintendo Switch, of course I'm gonna buy it because it's probably, assuming it's not pay to win, assuming you can't buy an 800% increase in bullshit, I'm gonna buy it. Okay. Hopefully Nintendo doesn't allow microtransactions in Diablo 4 if it comes out. We'll see in the future.
And I got my money's worth out of Diablo 4. I did. I got to level 100. I beat Uber Lilith. I beat Duriel.
Depends on what you consider got your money's worth, because don't take a multi-millionaire. Don't take a multi-millionaire's opinion on that. If you're the kind of guy that cannot buy every single system, if you're the kind of guy that cannot buy a $2,000 computer every other year, if you're the kind of guy that has to choose between which games he could buy and which games he could never buy, well, sorry, but that game is not worth it. Just saying, was not worth it. Diablo 4 is not worth the price, in my opinion. I didn't see what was so good about the game. It just seemed like trash. It just seemed like the same game as Diablo 3, same game as Diablo 2, but a little bit worse. And I'm not really interested in a game that's a little bit worse. I'd rather play Diablo 3 again and clear it again.
Did all the stuff. It was alright.
Which to choose?
Yeah, I had fun Season 0, Season 2. Yeah, I got my money's worth. And so if they do anything else beyond that, I'll be happy. Could it have been a lot better on release? Absolutely. Should it have been more inspired and have better ideas? Absolutely. Should they have needed to steal all of their ideas from Last Epoch?
Broke out of Tartarus.
But it is what it is. Buy the game because the expansion? Yeah.
but at least from this last update, it does seem like they're taking a big jump in the right direction.
They are.
Which does give me hope for the game. I hope that one day I will love Diablo 4 as much as the Diablo 4 team loves, well, everything.
I love the graphic design. Yeah, it's really cool. I really love that gold border. We would love to be able to drop in. And I love that zoom in.
I'd love to see these kind of stats people really love to improve the game experience. I would love to reserve the 10 and beyond levels.
I love that we have the ability to do that. You love Morgan Farm Burial for
oh, jeez.
Hold on, wait. You love this? I love this. Oh, it actually feels really good to do. I love it. We love our engineers. So I'm a barbarian lover. We love it.
When the fuck?
More of you, huh?
Sleepy Joe. Oh my fucking god. I didn't see. How did I not see this one?
What? Sleepy Joe? Where? What?
Oh my god.
I don't get it.
I'm a barbarian lover. We would love it if you're.
When the fuck?
I don't get it.
Sleepy Joe. Oh my fucking god. I didn't see. How did I not see this one?
I don't get it. Sleepy Joe.
Oh my god.
No.
You're having fun.
Not sure what they mean by Sleepy Joe.
How did I not see this?
Sleepy Joe.
I love this. Oh, it actually feels really good to do. I love this. We love our engineers. So I'm a barbarian lover. We would love.
Oh, is that because he's wearing a knighting thing? I don't know, it's a lame joke. So apparently this is like he's dressed up to go to sleep. That's the joke. I guess. Whatever. I thought they were talking about Sleepy Joe Biden, but I guess his name is Joe too. So he's got his nightcap on. He's gonna go to sleep. I guess.
Oh my. Sleepy Joe. Oh my fucking god. I didn't see. How did I not see this one?
That's not even that funny.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
You're having fun. I love the feedback. I want to see it fixed tomorrow, and you're like, I would love to do that for you.
I love the lower third.
No. Back to item assist. So there's builds I love all the time. We love that the gameplay. I love damage on Tuesdays. I'll never stop making jokes about this. I love it. We're loving it. You're saying something to do with the guy with no love with regards to Spirit Generation.
Well, that's it for this video. Back.
Like, I want to invite you to Thanksgiving dinner and my birthday party. You're such a genuine nice guy. I'll be the bad guy, and I'm gonna say, where the fuck is my loot filter? Frosty's here getting clips for his next video. That's gonna be the start of the next video.
It was the end.
All right.
That was pretty good. I do think that, like, I'm glad that he was a bit real with it at the end, because I do, like, I'm the kind of guy, like, I love the memes. This was a funny video. Give it a like. This is funny. But the truth is that Diablo is improving. It is doing better. And I think that that's it's commendable. It's nice. I'm glad that they're doing that. I do. I think it's good. And obviously, like, it's not like the game's perfect, but hey, look, if it's not good, then who cares?
If it's not good, then just don't buy it. I don't buy those games. The only way to stop the only thing that motivates corporations is money. And so the only way to stop them from making trash games is to not pay the money. Of course, they'd probably stop making games eventually if they're not making profit, but I mean, eventually they'll have to have a turnaround. Humanity is doomed. Where is that from? Gosh darn it. Gotta go backwards. Ah, stop lagging.
Welcome back,
Ah, damn it. My computer's lagging like crazy.
There's me.
Yeah. What? What is this? I'm 700% playing this.
There's me.
Welcome back, Diablo 4 superfans.
Nope. Ish. Oh, jeez. What is
Why
this?
does Planet Fitness allow this? Uh-oh.
Hey, babes. Switch. Yes, daughter. Thank you. Now bow.
Okay. I like how his face is blurred. They're probably doing him a favor.
I think his face is blurred because it's a skit. He's faking it. There's no man on planet Earth that would want to embarrass themselves that much. Apparently only women do that. Because they get paid well.
There's plenty of people that are into weird shit, but this is what my opinion is in terms of doing this in public places. This is a behavior that is done in the pursuit of sexual gratification, and they should be removed. Immediately banned. Permanently. It's not even a question, because other people there...
I agree 100%. I think anybody doing this on Twitch, if it's for children, then it should be instantly banned forever. They should have a permaban completely. This one should not be allowed. Unless it's like an adult website or adult content. It should not be allowed for children. And I think Twitch TV is primarily for children, I believe. I don't think they have an adult filter. I'm not 100% sure. It could be. There are some Twitch channels that are for adults only, so this could be only for adults. So, but this is in public though, so I don't think they should be doing that in public. It's pretty disgusting. Ugh.
Are not willing participants, and I don't think that they need to be involved in it in any capacity. Yeah, it really, it's not, like, I don't think there's no fine print in this. Don't act like this.
I'm a physician.
Yes, I would never lie because I'm a physician. I would never lie for my girl that I'm a slave to. Jeez. Another girl privilege. This was a mistake. I feel like these are all old. Is there anything new to watch? No, YouTube sucks. Everything is boring. You've got Trump derangements, and I feel like that's boring too. Cause like these people, let me show you.
Because you talk about.
For the record, these women are the most dumbest women, in my opinion. These are the most dumbest women on the planet. They have no intelligence at all, and anybody that listens to them, you are the dumbest people on the planet if you listen to these people. Or, I mean, unless you're watching them for entertainment, that's different. If you're listening to them to follow what they tell you to do, you are dumb as a brick or whatever. Just, I don't know. You're a jar of rocks. You have nothing for you.
Not judge.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have a Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have.
That's Judge Janine Hero on Twitter sparking a heated exchange that eventually spilled backstage.
A little about Russia. I met with Putin in Helsinki. A lot of folks, Democrats and Republicans, agree it was probably not the best idea because it kind of undermines our country. What do you think?
Not the best idea, Whoopi?
Come on.
every president in the last 75 years has met with the head of the Kremlin. Then how did you feel when Obama met with, I don't know, name somebody who had Castro or met with, yeah, where you
I have a problem with people talking. That's one of the things that we need now. We need people to talk. People who ostensibly hate each other. It's time we sat down and had
now.
But wait, can I just... Judge Janine took to Fox to provide an explanation of what occurred.
I got the transcript, and one of the things I said was, one of the things we need now, we need people to talk to people who ostensibly hate each other. It's time we sat down and had a conversation. And Whoopi, interrupted and said, now? Oh, I'm so glad. But anyway, that was almost prescient. The second segment, after some small talk, I mean, we had, I was making small talk. I was, happy to discuss my book. Right? And then we came back and it was, no holds barred.
I also think it's important, as we said, 89% of the Republican Party still supports him. He still has huge popularity in the country.
These women have zero brains. The only thing that's common with them is that they will support anything the Democrat Party or the mainstream media supports. They will have absolutely nothing to add to the conversation. If the government wanted to enslave all of its people and put them in prisons to protect them, they would support it. If the government wanted to kill off all the black people or kill off all the white people or whatever, genocide, they would support it because they have no brain power at all. They don't think about anything. They just follow what they're told to say. And there's nothing else about this. And once you realize that, everything makes sense. But there's so many stupid people that watch the show, I don't know. They're just stupid. And too bad. If it was up to me, I would just not allow stupid people to vote, because that's kind of what causes all the problems. It was my opinion, I would have an IQ test that require you to at least have 5 IQ to be able to vote. Most people that watch the show don't even have 5 IQ. There's people with plus 150 over average, and there's people with minus 150 below average IQ. Well, if you have negative 100 IQ from the average, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. I think that's common sense. Just like prisoners or felons are not allowed to vote. Of course, the people with low IQ are trying to give them the right to vote again, which is dumb as hell. Anyways.
And if Democrats don't get their you-know-what together, he's certainly going to get reelected.
Here's my question for you. Here's my question for you, because you talk loud and you talk about...
I am not, Judge.
Nobody is...
yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have. Oh, I have a lot of... I'm tired of people starting a conversation with Mexicans or liars and rapists. I'm tired of people starting a conversation about this country. Listen, I'm 62 years old. There have been a lot of people in office that I didn't agree with, but I have never, ever.
She says she's tired of conversations that start off with Mexicans or criminals. Well, what about the conversation that starts with white people are criminals, or white males or criminals or rapists or something? She will always support that no matter what, because the corporate party or her Democrat party supports that. She has said it before, and she will say it again. She will say that people with guns or criminals should be locked up. She'll say something crazy like that, and she's too brainless to understand that she is a hypocrite to what she believes in. And the truth is, she really doesn't believe in anything she says. She only believes in what she's told to say, and that is the only reason why she is supporting criminals allowing criminals to illegally import into countries. You know who doesn't allow criminals to illegally import into their country? Every country except for the United States. So she's just really stupid. She's really dumb.
seen anything like this. I've never seen anybody whip up such hate. I've never seen anybody be so dismissive. And clearly you don't watch the show, so you don't know that I don't suffer from that. What I suffer from is the inability to figure out how to fix this. That's my issue. But one of the things that you talk about a lot, and I'm curious about it, is the deep state. How long has the deep state been there, and who's running it?
Well, I want to answer your question because you had
you a question.
You had in your opening statement, which was how horrible it is that Donald Trump is talking about all of these people.
Sorry,
you know what
that's what
I think
you
is
said.
horrible?
You said,
Whoopi, you know what's horrible?
that
when
it
people
was
who
it's okay.
shouldn't be here end up murdering the children of American citizens.
You know what's horrible?
Horrible?
She's trying to point out that she is literally doing the same thing that she hates Donald Trump doing. When Donald Trump says something that's incendiary, she does the exact same thing against him. And these ignoramuses don't understand that they're hypocrites by doing the same thing. They're saying, well, I'm allowed to do it because Donald Trump is a bad guy. Donald Trump does bad things, so I'm allowed to be a bad person. No. If you don't want Donald Trump to do that, you don't do the same thing. If you don't want Donald Trump to be insulting and rude, then you should not be insulting and rude by example to prove to them that you're better. What these people do is they swoop even lower than Donald Trump, and they become a bigger scumbag than Donald Trump, ruder than Donald Trump. And the only people that don't realize that are people that vote for these people because they're so brainless and stupid. Anyways.
When the president of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people.
Whoopi got angry, and what the viewing audience, television audience, didn't see is that they popped up the cover of my book, and she pushed it off the desk, unplugged her mic, and then stormed off the set. So I'm there saying, I'm in television. I said, I don't think the segment's over, but I think she just left, Janine. I think it's over. So I take off my own mic, and then you have to go down the stairs. I go down the stairs, and she's right there, and I said something like, Whoopi, I spent my whole life fighting for victims because we had talked about rapes and all that. And she said to me, and she got up in my face, and I read somewhere someone said, well, you should have kept walking. I couldn't walk by her. She was at the bottom of the stairs. She says, F you.
See, when the corporation supports rape victims and calls all men rapists and says all men need to have mandatory training for not raping, Whoopi Goldberg will always support that. That's how much of a hypocrite she is. But then when it comes to protecting women that get raped, she will say it's okay for them to be raped as long as it's from illegal immigrants. See how ignorant and hypocritical she is? She's such a freaking terrible person. It's so bad.
F you. And then I said, did you just say F you? And then she said, get the F out of this building, get the F out of this building. So I'm there, and I'm like, okay.
And you didn't do anything to provoke anybody there?
No, you can ask the people that I was with. I mean, she was nuts going off the set, and then when I walked down, and so as I started walking out the building, so this woman is yelling behind me, get the F out of this building. I mean, look, I've been a prosecutor, judge, DA for 30 years. I try murder cases, and I can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But that was a pretty, it was sad. It was a sad moment that, she was triggered, and I never understood triggering. She started cursing at me. Stop. And then put a pin in my head and yelled, stop. Then I said to her, some of you was working tonight. It's sad.
This heated exchange just exposes how the witches at the camp treat individuals with differing opinions. Judge Janine not only stood her ground against Whoopi, but also had to silence Sunny Hopkins multiple times. I'll be uploading the full clip for you to witness in here. I thought it was very entertaining to see Judge Janine shutting down these incredible hacks, making them recoil like the snakes that they are. Do you agree that Whoopi suffers from Granger syndrome? won't even say his name.
Absolutely, they are Trump deranged syndrome 100%. They are crazy, low IQ. I don't think anything these people say has any intelligence behind it. It's so dumb, and I don't know. I wonder if they realize how. I suspect they know that they're hypocriticals, and it's like when you know like a racist, they know that they're racist, but they're still racist anyways. That's kind of like how these guys are. They're like, I could do whatever I want to. I could be as racist and bigoted as I can, and nobody's gonna do anything about it. That's what they are. And it's because they're in a place of power and there's nobody to punish them. The corporations are on their side, etc., etc.
I'd love to know your thoughts on this, so be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Your support really helps the channel grow, and I truly appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Wow, beat that one like nothing.
Got you. My boon from Master K.
Hold on, let's see what else we got. Woo-wee. Woo-wee, woo-wee. Link is always a mistake. Sneaking $500 in the stranger pockets. Clearly fake. Nobody would ever do that. Suicide Squad is a failure. I think that's kind of old. Leftist host tries to trap Rand Paul. It's gotta be really dumb. Anytime I watch political news, it's always really dumb. And it hurts my feelings watching it. Oh, here we go.
The Raymond G. Stanley Jr. has got the clip for us.
Now, I said that The View hates men and they say bad things towards men, and this is the title is that they say bad things towards men. Just like they're hypocrites. They say incendiary bad things towards other people, but as soon as Trump says something bad, oh, it's a breaking the rules. Only I'm allowed to say bad things against people. That's The View. They're so low IQ and stupid.
Let's play this clip and we'll talk a bit about it.
Do we need men? Do we need a man? No. Do we need men? No. Do women need men in this world? Do we need men?
I don't know how to
No.
do that.
Why?
Probably.
Because we can be strong, independent women.
There's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question. Do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives. Only one. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I mean, and by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men.
I have Handy Manny at home. No, he fixes everything. When things go bump in the night, he's the one that goes downstairs. When there's a bug to be exterminated, he does the extermination.
Nope.
When there is something to be fixed, he fixes it. He throws out the trash and he throws out the recyclables. I enjoy all the man stuff.
So wait a second. Listen, I know what you're going to say, but wait. She's really talking about a servant, let's face it. No. It's a handyman she's talking about.
No, it's a handy manny. Oh, it's a handyman with benefits.
We do not have. I need my man 3 to 4 times a week. And
good for you guys. Broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like,
I all in favor of sending the cast of The View into a sewer to deal with rat.
Isn't that ironic? They hate men. Gee, go figure. I mean, they're blatantly saying it. I mean, I didn't have the proof, and now I have the proof. And like, it's literally the next video I play. They're trashing men. You know, when Donald Trump was trashing illegal immigrants as being criminals, and then they go even lower. How is that possible? all men are useless. That's just it's just so bigoted. It's so sexist. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But you know, that's how low IQ women act. That's how we are. That's how it is.
Kings and blockages, or how about to an oil refinery?
How about to a gulag? I think that'd be a good place for them.
Well, I mean, putting them in prison for having bad opinions. I'm saying
I'm all fine.
These women have lived such pampered lives, and the voting patterns of many women reflect the sacrifices men have made for them, while shielding not all women, certainly not all women, shielding many women from the harsh realities of conflict and crisis, and heavy lifting and machinery, and the injuries that come in the workplace, especially with like the overwhelmingly male oil refinery job with a high rate of death. And they're shielded from it, laughing, saying, we don't need men. I propose we give them what they've asked for a small period so they can figure out, do they really need men or not?
Hannah, Claire, do women need men?
Of course they do. I mean, this is what I find really interesting about these arguments is this is like, they think they're scoring points with the other young women in the room, right? They're doing this for clout amongst themselves, but in reality, like, at least 2 of them are married. They must have thought they needed a man in some form. And I think fundamentally this is a really divisive conversation, right? It reminds me of the way the Democrats are like, we are such a divided country because of the Republicans. It's their fault. Like, it's the same logic here. Like, women and men don't get along, but I'm just going to talk nasty about this one side, right? Like, if men were to walk around being like, men don't need women, they would either... women would be like, you're gay, or they'd be like, how could you say that? We give life. We do all these things. Like, I think men and women are meant to be in partnership. There's a reason they're complementary, and I think this is a really arrogant way to behave. I don't like it. I think it's gross.
It's true, but let's be honest. Men have invented artificial wombs. So now the question is, do men need women?
Well, yeah, I do.
We can
I
grow
think
babies
they
in a
do.
petri dish.
This is so much deeper than where we're going here, because this train of thought is the reason our society is where it's at right now. The feminist movement has killed society. Men need to be masculine. We need toxic masculinity. We need men to be fathers. You look at all the discrepancies with the inner city and violence. It all comes down to fathers. It all comes down to men. This thinking that we do not need strong men in society is what's killing our society. So that's why I said send them to the gulags. Send them off. First of all, no man wants to go, and no man's been down there in a while for any of those women. That's gotta be nasty down there. But I'm really tired of hearing this. It's really just, as a guy who literally my entire...
That guy is going a little bit too savage, I think. I don't know what the gulag is. Let me look it up. I'm sure it's something really bad. I don't even know how to spell gulag. Gulag. What is a gulag? G-U-L-A. What's that? Western authors use the term gulag to denote all the prisons and internment camps in the Soviet Union. It's just a prison? I don't get it. Send them to prison? Like, whatever. See, I knew that was a stupid thing to say. I have no problem saying that a man is stupid too. He's pretty dumb. Why would you send women to gulags, to prisons? That's just that is not going to fix any of the problems. You know what would fix the problem? Making women do work. That would instantly fix the problem. If there was a requirement for women to do 50% of the hard labor, or they would get less, like there would be a mandatory less payment for them, or they have to pay more taxes, or whatever. Like, if majority of men did most of the hard labor, or if men that did hard labor were allowed to have a exception on tax, all the women would complain, and none of them would do the hard labor. That's what they should do. It's my opinion. I think hard labor should get paid more. I think they deserve to get paid more. I don't do hard labor myself personally. I used to do hard labor, but I still believe that men that do hard labor, dangerous labor, has a high risk of death or permanent injury, well, they deserve to get a tax break from the government because they are doing the jobs that no human being, not even an illegal immigrant, would ever do, including joining the military and going into I don't know what it's called, where you go into active gunfire. What's it called? In active war. Not just in the military, but when you go on to the front line. What is the word for military in gunfire, maybe? No. Military service on the front line. Synonym? Wars information. What's it called? I can't find the name for it. Active duty that doesn't go to war. Reservists are first to go into combat. Anyways. I forgot the word. Active combat situations. So like, I think that if a soldier goes into active combat where there's a high probability of getting killed, they should get some kind of a tax break for the rest of their lives, because they're in active duty, in actual, sacrifice. I think they should get paid a tax break. And I believe there's a law that says women cannot go into active duty. Can women go into active duty? This allows all mental documents, especially to be open to women as long as they qualify to meet the standards. Full and women armed forces volunteering. Let's see, can women get drafted? And then there is no such plan to force American citizens into military service, nor is there a specific plan to draft women. Are women allowed in combat? Women have been able to serve in most military positions, including combat, since 1983. The exception was tactical air service in various submarine positions, which opened up in 1989. Since 2018, Sweden also allows women on the same terms of men. I guess so. Well, if women are allowed to go to active duty, then they should get more rights too. I think anybody that goes into, not active duty, I mean active combat, into actual combat should be given as, some kind of relief for the rest of their lives because they sacrificed. Anyways, what am I doing? I'm taking forever on this run.
Your life is centered around me providing for and protecting my family. This is just it upsets me to the core.
To be fair, I think if a woman is protecting the family and doing all the stuff that a man does, they should get the privilege that you're providing the men, because they're doing the exact same thing. Unfortunately, women don't do that. The majority of women don't do the things that men do to provide. Anyways, there's different roles, of course, but as far as hard labor goes, men do that by a large majority.
It makes me want to violate terms of service on YouTube. That's how much it affects.
Save it for the after show.
Well,
Just to have an ounce of nuance here, I do think there is a good amount of selection bias going on here. I think this is like you're out on the town, there, some dude's shoving a phone in your face. Do women need men? Like,
well,
I also understand.
Fair point.
Because I also
go to
talk
a
to
more
people.
conservative city and like
church.
see how girls respond.
Yeah, go to a different.
They're
Also,
gonna
with
say
the way these women are dressed, I'm not. It just implies a setting, which.
But I don't care about the women. The view is what
view
matters.
is the problem.
But
These
then
girls are whatever.
the women also don't want to be seen saying on camera now, it's like, oh, I need a man. It kind of makes them look bad in a messed up psyche way.
That's part of the
Among
problem.
two other women, like that's the weirdest thing out of all of it, is that they are looking to each other and being like, well, if I admit that I need a man, like I think they take issue with the
they don't want to sound
then they think that they sound weak, and then therefore they're all going against feminism, which is a corrupt
So
ideology
can
anyway.
I pull this up real quick? This is council member from NYC, Amanda Farias, saying, "Where are the men calling this out?" in response to the women
But they
getting
don't
punched
need
in the
them, I
face.
thought.
The Women's Caucus tweeted, "We are deeply disturbed and concerned about widespread reports of attacks against women in New York City that have been confirmed by the NYPD." So where are the men calling this out? Oh, there's one. You arrested him. And look at these scumbags. This guy right here, scumbag. This guy right here, these cops are scumbags. Sorry. And we're tomorrow morning on the Culture War, we got some cops on, and we're going to debate policing. But sorry, if I was a cop and they said, "You're going to be transporting Daniel Penny," I say, "The hell I am."
Hey,
Find somebody
Tim,
else.
we're just following orders, though.
No dice. Don't play that game. They're going to be like, "Well, you got to do it or you're fired." I'll be like, "By all means, you go ahead and fire me." And then I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say I got fired because I refused to take part in the arrest of an innocent man who was trying to save lives in a city plagued by corruption and crime. But these cops got no problem. They got no problem justifying in their mind why they should be the one to hold this innocent man, this good Samaritan with cuffs behind his back. Scumbags. And then they say, "Where are the men calling this out?" You don't need men. You don't need them. You arrested them. That's how much they don't need them. These women on The View say we don't need men, and it is to the point where politically they are arresting the men who are trying to protect them.
There were no
Don't
protests
give-
for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Nobody came out. You know, also, a lot of people like to talk about, I mean, Ryan has a nice post here, but nobody's protesting for this guy.
This fundraiser did pretty well.
People were protesting for the person who he killed, who was threatening, I believe, other people. Jordan
Jordan
Neely.
Neely said that he would, something to the effect of wanting to kill people and didn't care what would happen to him.
There were protests for him, but nobody showed up to protest.
Well, because I think you could go back to the fact that people who can't afford to take time of the day to protest, like think about the people who are supporting this guy. We generally have jobs.
Yes.
And I also don't want to get arrested. If I'm at a protest and somebody hits me, I'm gonna hit him back. I'm gonna be arrested.
Weren't you just at a Kyle Rittenhouse thing?
I was at a Kyle Rittenhouse protest yesterday at Western Kentucky University.
I watched your video. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're wrong about everything. They're claiming they claim he killed black people and he's racist and stuff like that. It's all lies. It's all not true.
Many of them were saying specifically that he's like funded by the KKK.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Which kind of doesn't make sense. And also, there's, I do think it makes sense though that
the right is the conspiracy
well,
side.
that like BLM types are anti-Rittenhouse. Although he didn't kill any black people, the white people he killed were effectively pro-BLM.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it does make
The
sense.
logic is maybe they're pretty shaky.
Yeah. So.
No, I
Do you
it's
think, is it soft of me to say, like, a female version of Daniel Penny would be nice? Like, a girl to protect me? Why does a man always have... Like, if the woman was armed, I could be the bait, and then the woman gets... No?
I mean, to be fair, a lot
He's a
can be a
handsome
trophy
man.
husband.
No,
so
like-
if you're a wealthy woman looking for a husband, this is a
No,
lot.
and then, I mean, and like, you know, I could bait the person, people are arguing with me, and then she could light him up for me.
That's real feminism. That's a
real
male ally.
Feminism, yeah. I don't want to carry the firearm. It would be hot for
It's
the
kinda hot,
woman,
yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
hot, yeah.
Do you think he has any...
I think
Scarlett Johansson stuff.
I think that if you look at divorce rates and
Absolutely
you look at the
disavow.
opinions of women, typically situations where it's rare the situation where the man is in the stay-at-home role or the non-provider role, like it doesn't tend to work. And I think that what the data shows is that guys feel insecure if they're not providing, and women tend to feel unsatisfied if they're not receiving more.
Would she not respect me if she was carrying instead of me?
Okay, this is the thing.
Would
I
she
think the
divorce me
protection thing is
and she'd
so
get the
interesting
firearm?
because when I was younger and like full of life and fearless, like I thought about it less when I was dating people. And now that I'm older, like I think it was like, I don't know, somewhere in my mid-20s, I was like, no, the ability to protect me and like the steps that they actively take to defend themselves and the people they care about, like this is something I now think about a lot when dating, because it's an investment in my future, my safety, the safety of my property, and the safety of my future children, right? Like, when I was younger, I would have been like, yeah, maybe it'd be cool if she carried a gun, but probably you're weak for not doing it. But now I think of it as like, major ick. Would not go for sorry.
I think this shifts into a macro problem where we as individuals, we say like an individual should have their rights. But what happens then, en masse, women, maybe because they're all being pressured to say we don't need no man or something like that, or they genuinely believe it, or maybe you have many women who are shielded from the harsh realities because men are doing the jobs like crawling around sewers. I'd like to see what The View has to say if men just did not work for a month. I mean, look, how many episodes of like that Survivor show have they done? I'm not talking about the show Survivor. They did a bunch of these shows where they got two islands and they put men on one and women on the other. And then what ends up happening is the women get lost, start
fight.
crying, and the men within like an hour have a bar set up and are sitting there sipping on coconuts and they have a fire going. And the women are... There was one I watched.
That show about women going into the wilderness to survive and the men are just freaking chilling and the women are crying. That's the best thing ever. I'm sure there's women that know how to camp, but most of the women that go camping, they don't do jack, and the man does all the work, and then they never learn how to camp themselves. But I bet you that if women were forced to learn, or if women were forced to do hard labor, they would learn how to do the hard labor, and then they would learn to appreciate it when they let the man do the job. They would appreciate it more. But because women never actually get the chance of doing the hard labor, they never learn to appreciate it. That's kind of a problem. And, you know, majority of women don't do the hard labor. And I believe that we should force women to do hard labor so that they can understand what it means to not do the hard labor.
That was so brutal. The women were like, they're trying to find supplies or whatever, and they get lost in the jungle, and they walk in circles. And then once they loop back and hit one of their markers, they start breaking down and just start crying.
Have you seen all these studies that came out recently about how the 8-hour, like you need 8 hours of sleep, was actually based on men, and women actually need 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night?
Yeah.
Like, we're different. We do different things for a reason, and it's great. But different.
I would ask this of guys too. Like, you know, you're a married man.
Yeah.
In my experience, I barely sleep, but my girlfriend sleeps more than I do.
Oh yeah. My wife outsleeps me. I'm like, how are you still asleep? Like, I've been up for like 3 hours. What are you doing? Women do need more sleep. Whatever. She's absolutely correct.
And this is another thing too. For a long time, I think up until the early '90s, painkillers were only tested on men.
That's enough.
And so these doctors were like, "Man, these women are so weak. They're complaining. We give them painkillers." And then they realized, oh, they don't work on women.
No, and I mean, it's really interesting seeing how many, like, there are a lot of, there's this really great book called The Female Brain, and it was written by a neurobiologist, and she talks about the fact that, like, they used to just exclude women from studies because they'd be like, they mess up the data, so crazy. But it's like, actually, their hormone cycle is completely different from men. Women go on a monthly hormone cycle that men don't experience at all. Men's hormones change with age and under stress and stuff. Like, it's just so interesting that feminism is like, no, we don't need men, but also we're actually completely different. Like, we're very, very different. Of course you need men because they do a lot of stuff that you can't. Like, especially if you think about, like, the reason men and women pair up is because women bear children and you're in a much more vulnerable state. Like, it's good that we depend on each other. And I think this idea that, like, feminists have created, like, I don't need no man, the word need is such a trigger for them. They can't see it as like, hey, it is helpful to be in a partnership where you have people covering different bases so we can keep the species alive. Instead, they see it as it's all about them and how they perceive themselves as weak if they admit they need help.
It's interesting though, because, you know, in the clip that we showed in the full video, they ask men, do men need women? The men say yes.
Yeah.
But a man saying they need women is different. The guy, like, if you went to a guy and said, do you need a woman to survive? You could say, like, I guess emotionally life would not be fulfilling without a woman. They're like, no. In terms of resources, materials, getting a job, do you need a woman? Well, no. I could figure it out. When men are asked, do you need women? They're talking about life fulfillment and starting a family. The things they want to achieve and accomplish with their lives can't be done without a woman. I think the way the women are taking it is, do you need a man in terms of surviving? And they're like, no, I don't need a man. As opposed to, I think that it's being viewed differently. Like, women internalize it as, I don't need a man to survive. Which, in the wilderness, you would. A man would survive, would have a higher rate of survival than a woman on their own. But men are looking at it more emotionally, and women are looking at it more materially.
And I think some of the girls they interview on the street, like, I bet all of them are really salty at some guy who has not texted them back. You know what I mean? Like, it is fair to say that, like, women will assume more masculine responsibilities if they feel like there are not men in their lives they can depend on, right? So if you have a bad experience with men, and I think you've talked about this a little bit, like, when there are not strong male leaders and there aren't fathers and you're having, like, all these terrible romantic relationships, like, of course women become bitter and are like, I don't even want to deal with you guys. On the other hand, like, let's not fool ourselves. Men and women need each other.
What's crazy is the way they're dressed looks like they're really trying to attract a man. Like, that's the whole funny part of this. Like, you're not wearing that for you.
They're wearing it for other women.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Like, makeup, plastic surgery. So, like, I'm not going to single any woman out, but there's a lot of videos of women that have lip fillers.
I'm getting nervous in the room.
I'm talking about it. Go ahead.
I don't have lip fillers.
But there was this one woman who posted a TikTok, and she was like, how come everybody is saying that I look like I'm 45? I'm 26. And they were like, oh, because of all the plastic surgery you got, you look like someone who's desperately trying to look 26. Like a 45-year-old woman or a 50-year-old woman. She's like, oh my God. No guy, like rare guys, because there are certainly guys who like electric things. Some guys like morbidly obese chicks, some guys like skinny chicks, whatever. Certainly some guys like the crazy plastic surgery. Most guys don't like it at all.
Can you just imagine the guy who's like, yeah, you know, I'd hit it, but man, her eyebrows aren't long enough.
And her lips aren't puffy enough.
You guys might need to ask Jeff Bezos. Being
Some guys like it, that's fine. But my point is, on average, when you go out and you're talking to guys are just like regular-looking women are fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.
I am crushing this run. I am killing things super fast. My abilities are so powerful. Vegan activist. I just don't know why everybody that's popular on YouTube is crazy. Are there any normal people on YouTube? Jeez. Psychos, low status mistake, they're all psycho people. Everything on YouTube is all about psychos. I mean, Hassan Piker viewership plummets, Hassan breaks down. I don't think so.
We have this tweet from Drew Pavlov.
It says Hassan Piker. For the record, Hassan is a moron. And he is the same thing as the View. He supports the corporates, whatever they say, the corporate says, he's 1000% behind it. Whatever the View supports, the corporate supports, Hassan Piker supports. And so sometimes he comes off as a moron. But he's not as big as a moron as the View. He kind of knows he's being deceptive and ignorant on purpose. I think he's smart enough to know that he's saying the wrong things. So sometimes you can see him kind of word it differently because he knows it's wrong. But he knows, because he changes the way he speaks or says things, he's being disingenuous. So I hate Hassan Piker because he's very disingenuous. And he doesn't say anything that has any real meaning because he's if someone is disingenuous, that means they're lying by omissions. Basically listening to somebody that's trying to manipulate you by saying half lies or half truths. And that's what Hassan Piker is. I don't know, it's not surprised that nobody would watch him, but I think he's probably popular because he's like I think he's probably popular to dumb people that have low IQ, possibly. Let's see, it says his viewership in February was 49,000 and it dropped down to 27,000. That's almost a 50% drop rate in views. But he's still making the same profit. So, he must have a deal with the corporations because he's still making the same amount of profit, so he's not going to stop. So I don't see the difference here. He's making tons of money with less viewers. A lot of rich people paying him. I don't know what for, but he's getting a lot of money.
I'm not super familiar with who this individual is, but this tweet is going is being passed around. Hassan Piker, for those that aren't familiar, he was the most prominent leftist streamer on Twitch. He is how does he describe? Is he a socialist? Is that how he describes himself?
I mean, he's a himbo socialist, yeah.
Himbo socialist, is that what he says?
Well, no, he doesn't say that. That's me mocking him.
Oh, okay.
But he's allegedly a socialist. He says that he is culturally not American. He rejects essentially everything that there is about America. So,
well, according to this tweet, his viewership is down 40.
If anybody is an American and they reject America, then they are a hypocrite because they stay in America. If you want to truly not be a hypocrite, then prove it by leaving America into any, was he a socialist or a communist, whatever, go to any socialist or communist country to prove to everybody that you actually mean what you say. And you know what would happen if you went to a communist country? They would shut him down in a split second. Yep. Because the truth, facts, and the truth is not allowed in communist countries. They censor their stuff
lot more than democratic countries. And I'm not saying that democratic countries are the best. There's probably a lot of other better systems, but currently, right now, it's the best that they got. If you compare it to any other country, like I don't know, what's a better country? Japan. I would say Japan is better, but guess what? They're using the same system as us. What's better than Japan? Australia. Well, guess what? They're using the same system as us. Alright? So there's no pure socialist country out there that I know of that is successful. And of course, to be fair, the reason why a country is good or bad is not because of the government system. It's because of the leaders and the proportion of corrupt leaders. So if you have a socialist country that has a single dictatorship, that's usually what it turns into, then one evil dictator would completely destroy your country, like a Stalin would execute billions of people but with starvation. And so because of that, it's a bad system. Now, of course, on the flip side, if the socialist country, the dictator, was actually a good leader and a generous leader and actually helped the people, yeah, it would be better. But guess what? It doesn't exist. There is no socialist leader that actually helps the people. They're all evil. And the reason why Democrat systems work better is because we split the power up into many people. And so when the oligarchy is in control, like America, well, it's going to be evil. And guess what? It's not as evil because not all of the oligarchy is evil. Like the entire socialist governments are evil. Alright, so, whatever. Of course, there's a lot of other things. But because we have the power spread out and we have a lot of local control, well, that's why the socialist corruption does not destroy the entire country. Well, you know why Chinese people don't leave their country? It's because their socialist government, does not allow them to leave the country. They're prisoners. If anybody tries to sneak out of their country, they get shot. Just like in North Korea, if they try to sneak out of North Korea, you get shot. The guards, they're not facing out, they're facing inward to keep people in like a prison. That is the difference between the two countries. Alright, my opinions.
% in 1 month, from averaging 49,000 viewers to 27,438. And I think the issue here is that, wow, undefined from 30,000 to 9,000. That's more than 40%. I think what's happening is younger people are realizing that this leftist grift is just that. It's a grift. Here's a guy who, and so to get to the gist of it, because I know it may be a bit esoteric to people who don't pay attention to the sphere of politics, but this guy's massively influential among young people. And now he's seeming to fall off. At the same time, we're seeing numerous polls that Gen Z is shifting right. Gen Z no longer supports same-sex marriage at the same levels as millennials. It's now lower than that of boomers. And I think 65% said they thought Trump would do more to fix this country if elected. These are shocking poll results we're seeing. At the same time, one of the most prominent streamers to a young leftist audience is dropping in viewership. It all starts to correlate. I think young people, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago in the previous segment, are waking up to, yes, you're being screwed over by powerful uniparty and corporate elites. No, communism and socialism are not the answer. But I can give you an example.
No, they don't like Hassan Pike because he is supported by the corporations, or he is like a puppet to the corporations. Whatever the corporations support, Hassan Piker supports. And that is why the young people probably don't like him. Before they liked him because he said a lot of entertaining things, and so they're always for him, but that's because they're too stupid to think for themselves. Eventually, young people get screwed over, get hosed over in their lifetime, and they realize what they were listening to, Hassan Piker, it was all a lie, and they figured out the hard way. And then they go hard right, probably the opposite of what Hassan Piker is. Most of those are the hardworking Americans, which are men, and less of those. I don't think women watch Hassan Piker, to be honest. They're watching The View or something. Whatever.
Of why Hassan perfectly exemplifies the grift that is the left. When I made a video agreeing with him about something, he had criticized Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast was curing cataract blindness. I remember that. And Hassan said, why are we praising this? It's a simple procedure, and yet we're relying on an entertainment TV show to help people with their vision. And I said, I completely agree. It's an absurdity that as a culture, we've turned healthcare into a TV show to make it function. He ends up responding by insulting me because I was critical of funding the war in Ukraine. So here's a guy who simultaneously says the military-industrial complex is bad, we shouldn't fund wars.
Well, because the corporations don't support right-wing people like Tim, even though Tim is left-wing, which is kind of funny, because the corporations don't support what Tim says, Hassan Piker must absolutely refuse anything that Tim says. Even if Tim was correct, because the corporations say so, Hassan Piker must follow what the corporations say, which is reject anything Tim says. And I think it's because Hassan is getting paid somehow by the corporations, or he's getting something, he's getting some kind of kickback from the corporations, which I've seen with the Young Turks. I've seen it with many other people who support corporations. And they start off good. They start off supporting the people. Probably Hassan Piker started off supporting the people, and then the corporations got a hold of him and said, "You need to go pure evil, support Satan, the devil, or we're not going to pay you." And so Hassan Piker said, "I want to get the money," and that's basically what he did. He sold out to the people. He sold out his people for the corporate money, corporate greed.
And we should be funding Ukraine and supporting Ukraine. We can't leave them hanging, because it appears he's saying whatever he thinks individually will attract the most viewership. That will work for a young person who is very naive, and only for so long until they eventually realize, how can you both simultaneously say funding war is bad, funding Ukraine is good? That's contradictory.
It's a difficult act to strap.
Once again, the corporation wanted to fund the war in Ukraine. Nobody else wanted to support that. The only people that wanted to support that are the people that have a lot of money. The reason why we have such a large military budget is because all that military is being used to support and protect and make more money for the billionaires in America. When the billionaires get 99.9% of the support, well, guess what? They get 99.9% of the support from the military too. And in short, when the billionaires are getting 99.9% of the support from the military, well, guess what? The politicians will get paid by the billionaires, and they'll support what the billionaires want. The billionaires want a bigger military that will help make them more money. Guess what? They're going to go ahead and invade countries and steal resources, like, for example, invade Iraq, pretend it's for weapons of mass destruction, but they're lying, and then mass murder thousands of people, commit genocide, and guess what? Whoops, there were no weapons of mass destruction, and we never had evidence to begin with. Well, guess what also happened? The billionaires made more money. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. Billionaires will never pay their fair share of taxes based on the amount of resources they receive. They're probably paying less into taxes than the amount of stuff they receive from the government. And that's my opinion. I think people that own a lot of resources need to pay a higher percentage of taxes versus people that have less resources, because they don't receive as much in taxes, in my opinion.
Battle defense all the time. I mean, the Krasensteins do it to great effect, but you can only go with the wind so many times before you lose whoever it is that's following you, because maybe that's what's going on. He changes the shift. He shifts his thing and it drops 40% in a month. That's cratering.
It's worse, and so I want to address this next one sensitively, but also stress, I don't have confirmation on these posts. They're going viral. Many different accounts are sharing this post that allege to be from Hassan in his Discord server. Camelcast official says Hassan Piker is melting down because only 13,000 people watched him on a recent stream. According to this image, which purports to be from his Discord, he said, "I'm so sad, I think the streams are bangers, but people just don't see them. We used to be a community. I hate what my community is becoming. I swear Twitch streaming isn't about the actual content, it's about whether people want to pay attention to you or not and clout. All that ish was a banger and 13K watched, like I'm effing gaming at 8 p.m. I'm done. I hate this job. I'm not streaming today. I'm going to... He then threatened self-harm. So I certainly hope that's not true and he's not actually threatening self-harm. I hope he's okay. But man, there's a couple things to address here. I think the important thing politically is the shift away from the leftist grift. But I also want to highlight the social media depression that happens to people when their viewership declines and they have no mental fortitude. So I'll just say this to Hassan, who may end up seeing this. In November of 2020, we were getting over 100,000 concurrent viewers every night. From like September to October, we were getting over 120 million views per month for that period. Into the next year, it went down to maybe 50K. And then there was a period in 2022 where we were averaging around 29 or 30,000 per episode. Not once did I have a mental breakdown or threaten self-harm or go, oh no, what happened? You just do your show. You just do the work. Viewership fluctuates, but if you like what you do and you believe in what you do, this shouldn't be an issue, and you shouldn't threaten self-harm over it because 13,000 people. He filled a stadium. Well, okay, he filled a decent size. I mean, what's 13,000?
Yeah, college basketball arena.
College basketball arena. Imagine being able to command that every night and being upset because you used to fill a stadium. This is what we see. I mean, tons of people are responding saying, I wish I could get 13K. And he's upset it's that low. This is how social media is destroying people's brains. Not just in driving Hassan to this depressive state, but also the people who watch him, who are being, you know, Hassan's clearly, let me put it this way. Let me make the distinction between what we do and what he does. When our viewership declines, we just kept doing the show. We kept having conversations. Why? The conversation is what matters. The people on the show is what matters. I didn't have a mental breakdown, cry, and say, why weren't I? I was like, well, you know, elections come and go, and, you know, whether or not the subject you're talking about is the most prominent can come and go, and the algorithm comes and goes. I don't really care about whether it's 50,000 or 20,000. I like hanging out every night with different people. I like talking about the news. I like arguing. You know, it is what it is. Hassan desperately wants that viewership number to go up. He's saying whatever he thinks he needs to say to get viewers. Young people are gargling refuse, not real information. I'm happy to see, though, with this decline, they're waking up to it. I just hope Hassan can make it through.
I want to point out that Hassan's luck took a turn for the worse as soon as he decided to call me names. So I'm going to take credit.
You get credit then?
Yeah, I'm going to take credit for that.
Why did he call you names? What happened?
He said that I was a very failed musician. That's where
that's where that came from.
That's where that came from.
Oh,
yeah. He said that he's like Tim Pool's. He said one of Tim Pool's commanders is what he called me. And so for a while, my name was Commander Phil Labonte.
So how come you don't have a hat like with the scrambled eggs on the lid? And
Pardon me?
Like, you got to get the hat like with the Navy insignia on the lid and stuff like that. Yeah.
But
lean in.
I believe like the reason why is because he trash talks people, and if anybody actually pays attention to that, they realize that Tim Pool is actually a better broadcaster. They're probably like they're growing out of low IQ people and they're moving up to the next step, which is Tim Pool. He's actually a little bit higher IQ, and that's probably what's happening. Is at the moment they saw the battle with Tim Cast, they probably said, "Who's this Tim Cast we're trash talking?" And so maybe they started watching Timcast, and then all of a sudden, Timcast stole all of his customers. That's probably what happened. If he had a battle with him, I'm sure he's just anybody that actually thinks for more than 30 seconds will realize that Hassan is a moron and everything he says is wrong. It's just arguing with people that like Hassan is like arguing with a brick wall or arguing with a doorknob. They just don't understand anything. They have no, not common sense. They have no rational arguments. They have no logic at all.
Into that,
he called me Commander. So I was Commander Phil Labonte for a while, and his comment where he was saying that I was a failed musician I put that as my pinned tweet for a while. Now it's someone else that I'm not gonna stir that pot right now.
Very failed musician guy.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, look, he's like really lopped onto like pro-terrorist stuff. Like he's literally pro-terrorist. Like he's
he called babies colonizers.
Yes. There,
like,
so that,
jeez,
there were stickers that were being put up in Times Square that were probably mocking the Palestinians and mocking Hassan, but they were saying that babies are the settlers too and stuff, and it's like that's really gross stuff. And like I said, it was probably mocking them. But Hassan said it, and Hassan, being the absolute imbecile that he is, because he is as dumb as a shoe, but he literally was like,
"He's as dumb as a shoe." I didn't say it. He's just agreeing with me. I said it first. Hassan's low IQ material, and I'm not the one that said it. I said it first, but he's the one that agreed with me. I agreed. Hassan is dumb as a shoe, but I knew it like within 30 seconds of listening to Hassan. He's a freaking moron.
Ethan, babies are settlers too, and he wasn't being ironic about it. It was absolute idiocy falling out of his face. So, and I really think that people are just like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He's pro-communist, and he's pro-terrorist, all just because America bad. That's the only reason. It's because America bad, and he's a moron. He's the guy that said, the U.S. deserved 9/11.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you feel about the U.S. foreign policy prior to 2001, it was definitely different to the U.S. foreign policy post-2001. And it certainly wasn't a situation where the 3,000 people that were in the towers that day deserved to die because of the United States foreign policy. So he's a kind of a just like bad person generally, basically against anyone that he politically.
Yeah, pretty much. Hassan is such a freaking moron. He's such an absolute moron. He cannot relate what causes terrorism. He's so stupid that he'll just say, "Oh, all Americans cause terrorism. They should all die." He's such an absolute buffoon. He's such an ignoramus. It's so bad. No, the reason why terrorists are created is because America invades innocent cities and they commit atrocities like genocide and murdering innocent families and bombing them to hell. And then not only that they bomb them, they're stealing resources like crazy. But I'll admit that they do that. I've seen it before. I've been in the military. We've bombed the hell out of them, and they didn't do anything wrong except for probably hold something that the rich people, the billionaires in America wanted. Sure, I'll say that, but that doesn't qualify terrorists to kill innocent people in America. See, I would never support killing innocent people in other countries, just like they shouldn't support killing innocent people in America. And at least I'm honest about it. I would never support killing innocent people. But this moron Hassan, he is so dumb that he cannot figure out that we murdered innocent people in Iraq. He's probably so stupid that he doesn't even understand what we are doing, why we are choosing to murder innocent people in other countries. He probably doesn't know what all these wars are about. I do. They're for making money for the richest people in the world. That's what they're for. But this Dumbo doesn't get it, and that's why nobody cares about Hassan. Everything he says doesn't make sense. I can clearly trace the motives between every war based on what they are getting out of the war. Usually it's based on a dispute between ultra multi-billionaire people or multi-billionaire companies that are trying to make a profit, and if you don't get out of their way, well, we're going to bomb your city for some dumb excuse like weapons of mass destruction. And you know what? We didn't need any evidence in 2002. We bombed the hell out of Iraq and stole all their gas, and we never had any evidence at all to prove why we needed to invade and mass murder their entire population. We did it anyways. But see, if you're not able to trace the money to figure out what the motivation is, for example, the root cause was the people that were in charge of the evidence of weapons of mass destruction. Well, that's all the politicians, and they're all being bribed by all the richest corporations to lie, and all those corporations, they definitely knew about the fake evidence. That's why they all supported it. Every single major mainstream media corporation was supporting weapons of mass destruction lie, and guess what? They were being supported by the corporations. That's who made the most profit off of this. Of course, it's clear that it's the rich people that should be paying for it. Those are the people that should be suffering, not the innocent people that never had any any dog in the fight. Anyway, back to the video.
Doesn't agree with, and that justifies it, which is typical leftist, in my opinion. So that's my bit on Hassan.
Happy to enjoy the results of the capital that he accumulates while railing against the entire system, though.
Of course,
I'm sure.
And I think that's part of the reason too. Is like people, like his viewers, really, I would imagine some of them really believe the socialist kind of thing, and
not anymore.
It's clear that he's a grift. It's clear he's got a boatload of money, and he's not giving a bunch of it away. Like, he raises money, but he's not giving his money away.
I think I think that if he just, I think the issue with him is, as I was mentioning, like, the 2020 election cycle was insane for us. We did not have the membership thing we do today with timcast.com, and revenue was way crazier. With 120 million views, you can only imagine. And then as things started to go down, it's just whether I have 100 million or 20 million. I was like, I don't know. We hang out every night, we talk about what we care about. I think the issue for Hassan is his whole thing was community, as he describes it. What that really means is people just shut up to hang out. He didn't really offer a thought-provoking discussion between various individuals. It's different. I don't want to claim that we're the same kind of thing. We're not. But that means that when his community grows up, and you know what I think it might be? 16-year-olds became 17-year-olds. 17-year-olds became 18-year-olds. 18-year-olds got jobs and are no longer sitting around all day watching Twitch.
And there's one other thing that I think is worth pointing out. If you look at the left-leaning Twitch political streamers, like one of the people that are the biggest name, you got Hassan, who's a literal, he supports Hamas. You've got Vosh, who seems to have untowards photos in his porn box, and then you've got Destiny, who's kind of having a rough time lately as well.
He's been getting beat up on the debate circuit.
Yeah,
he wants it, man. He's out there. He's just like, bring it to me.
And he's just getting pummeled.
I think that I think there's something about like his personality where he just doesn't feel embarrassment, and he's just like, I'm going in there. It's like someone that can just constantly get punched in the face and take it. I think that Destiny just is beyond embarrassment, and that's what his thing is. But you look at the leftist streamers, and none of them do anything other than stream. So like Hassan, if he loses his Twitch stream revenue, that's it. If he stops streaming in 6 months, his revenue's down to almost nothing. And
as a communist, he has no idea how to use capital.
It's true. This is true. And the same thing with Vosh, and the same thing honestly with Destiny. It's like these guys don't do anything else. You look at like Jeremy from the Quarter. He's got his coffee. And he's got the Publica that he
coffee brand
coffee. He's got the Publica that he does. And Tim here obviously has the coffee the cast brew coffee, and
it's coffee and news website. That's all any of us do.
No, but you've got you're building the boonies, and there's a lot of things that you do, and you look at other people that are on the right. Daily Wire, like they just went whole hog with started with a podcast stuff, and now they're huge, and you look at people on the right, and they behave in a very clearly different way to people on the left.
But this is what the left and the right distinction has become.
Yes.
People of merit are now considered all right-wing, and people of no merit are left-wing. It used to be that you could be a successful entrepreneur, liberal, Democrat, having a reasoned discussion with your Republican neighbor and going, I think you're crazy, but when's the golf game? We're going Sunday, right?
Right.
Now it's completely at odds. And as many people point out, like Donald Trump is a New York liberal from 15 years ago, and now you're far right. No, the reality is, the reason why I have a bunch of business ventures outside of just this show, so my morning show, I could live off that and I'd be wealthy for the rest of my life. Just the morning hour and a half that I record Monday through Friday, it makes me a rich person. But so then we have timcast.com memberships, and I said this before, my personal salary just comes from my morning show. I just won.
I wish I could make as much money as Timcast. I'm making $0, you know why? Because of the requirement to make money on YouTube is you must have like 44,000 hours watch time. I have like 10. No, I have like 5 hours watch time from viewers. And like 2.5 of those are me watching my own videos. I think you have to have like 4,000, 400,000, 40,000 subscribers. That's ridiculous. I'll never get that or something. Whatever the requirement is, the requirements are so ridiculous that I don't think I'll ever do it. Maybe I should make some shorts because I think those might be easier to get those viewers. Who knows? And I just beat the boss. Here, mother's perfect. How do you get so strong? I don't know. Maybe it's because I unlocked a whole bunch of bonuses. That's how I'm so strong, Mr. Hades. Jeez. What we got here? We got here clear time of 32 minutes. Probably 5 minutes of that was pausing or just not paying attention. I'm not really worried about getting a record. I figured I'd get that eventually. This was a very, very high damage build. This is one of the more better builds I've ever had, and I think it's because of triple jab and the hold attack to rapid strike. Plus, I had a speed attack speed up and lightning attack buff, and it just all synergized to create a high damage build. Didn't even use any depth defense. There was really no risk in this run. It's pretty easy. Almost no work at all. Did I get any fish? I don't see any fish. Do I have any fish here? No fish? Fishies? It's hard to get fish now that I can't go to the second area. Oh well. And we die. And we die.
To discount the fact that this company makes profits beyond that, and I do get profits, but the money that we get beyond the morning show, so IRL and all that stuff, we are reinvesting into expanding and